In this video, we will be illustrating to you some of the steps that we follow when we create a business. Now make sure you watch till the end, where we will share some of the best tips and tricks in helping you build your business brand. Our first step is probably the hardest, and that is simply creating a name for our business. I personally recommend having the type of business in the name. Now, there are some exceptions to this rule, though. For instance, you will want to stay away from anything adult-oriented, tobacco, gambling, financial services, legal services, health and wellness, just to name a few. Once you have your name, you'll want to check if the domain name is available for your business. After that, I would recommend checking your social media handles to see if they're also available. Now, if everything is a go, I would recommend purchasing your domain through a service, such as GoDaddy. Our next step will be setting up our business address and phone number. If you don't already have a commercial address set up, you'll want to set up either a virtual address, a co-working space, but make sure it is not a P.O. box or your post office box, or a FedEx or UPS mailbox. Now, some of these virtual offices will actually provide you with conference rooms, toll-free numbers, fax, and mail forwarding for a fraction of the price that you would spend on a lease through a commercial building. Now, if none of these services are available, in the worst case scenario, you can use your home address, but you want to keep in mind that certain accounts will deny you for credit. Now, let's talk about that business phone line. There are a couple things you want to stay away from. First, you do not want to use your personal cell phone. The next thing you'll want to avoid is certain types of voice over IP, such as Google Voice. Now, there are two that we have found that you are able to get listed with the 411 directory. Now, they're Vonage and GoDaddy's SmartLine. The nice thing with the SmartLine is the cost. And it starts as low as $9.99 and can go up to $19.99 for a toll-free listing. Again, it's something you can have submitted to the 411 directory assistance. I would recommend using a service called List Yourself to get yourself into that directory as soon as possible. Now we have the name, the domain name, business address, and phone number for your business. It's time we move on to the next part, which is creating the business entity with your state. There are many options to choose from: sole proprietorship, single member LLC, partnership, S and C Corp. I would recommend contacting a local CPA to get some advice. Now, a lot of times you can receive free consultation for X amount of minutes. Once you have decided which entity best suits your needs, it's time to start. The fees associated with forming your entity will vary based off your state and your county. Once you have completed this process, you will want to move on to the next step, which is getting your EIN, otherwise referred to as your employer identification number. Now, be sure to check the description for the link to get yours for free. If you're uncertain of these steps, there are paid services that can help, such as LegalZoom, Zen Business, and InkFile. Once you have your articles of incorporation, your EIN, and the necessary permits and licenses that are required, it's time to set up a business banking account. I know there are a lot of choices out there, and here are some things to consider. Do you need a bank that has a lot of branches and ATMs? If you answered yes, you may want to consider a larger banking institution like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and TD Bank. Now, smaller community banks may be more attuned to local market conditions and more willing to work with you based on your character and overall profile rather than hard numbers of a credit score. In other words, it might be easier to secure a loan or a line of credit. Smaller banks may also be more willing to give you a better rate or a lower fee in order to win your business. Now, we prefer to use credit unions because we've found that they typically have fewer fees than most banks, and they have lower credit card interest rates. Now, they also tend to be a great partner for the long haul, as they are typically a relationship-driven organization. So now we have everything done that we need to do to start our company, except for making money. Now, as we promised, here are a couple, here are 7 different ways you can actually come up with a domain name, social media handles, eBay accounts, Etsy accounts, Amazon storefronts. So without further ado, what you want to do is go to these sites: bustaname.com, nameboy.com, namemesh.com, panabead.com, domainshots.com, brandbucket.com, and then there's my personal favorite, namecheck.com. Please click the like and subscribe button below and you'll be notified every time we drop a new video.